On the night of your arrest, two different breath readings were recorded. The small handheld device the officer used at the roadside is called a preliminary alcohol screening device, or PASS. The larger machine at the station or jail is called the evidentiary breath testing instrument. California law treats these two devices very differently, and that distinction is the starting point for understanding your case. The PASS device is designed to help an officer decide whether there is probable cause to arrest you. It is not a final measurement. Here is something many people do not know. If you are over 21 and not on DUI probation, you generally had the legal right to refuse the PASS test at the roadside. Officers are not always clear about that. The PASS result can still be introduced as evidence, but it is held to a different standard than the station machine. Your BAC is not a static number. Alcohol is still being absorbed into your bloodstream after you stop drinking, and your level can rise or fall over time. If 30, 45, or even 60 minutes pass between the roadside pass and the station test, your BAC may have moved in either direction during that window. The PASS device may also simply be less accurate. Roadside conditions like temperature, recent belching, or residual mouth alcohol in your mouth can push a PASS reading up or down. The station machine uses a required 15-minute observation period before testing to control for some of those variables. The evidentiary station machine is the number that goes into the police report, that the prosecutor uses in court, and that the DMV considers in an administrative per se suspension action against your license. It is required to be calibrated and maintained under Title 17 of the California Code of Regulations, which is the set of detailed rules governing how breath and blood testing must be conducted and documented in California. A failure to follow those rules can give your attorney grounds to question whether the result is reliable. If your PASS number was lower than your station result, the gap may support a rising BAC argument. That is the idea that your BAC was still climbing while you were driving and only reached its peak after you were already off the road. If your PASS was higher than the station result, that raises questions about whether the PASS device was properly calibrated or whether mouth alcohol contaminated the reading. Either way, the gap between the two numbers is a data point worth examining carefully. Your attorney can pull the time stamps, the calibration logs for both machines, and the officer's observation notes to look for weaknesses in the state's BAC evidence. Results vary by case, and the specific facts of your night are what drive that analysis. If you only have one reading, or if you refuse the station test, the picture changes but legal options still exist. Write down everything you remember right now. When the officer asked you to blow into the handheld, when you arrived at the station, when the station test happened, and any numbers you were told at the scene. Also remember that you have a 10-day window from your arrest to request a DMV hearing. Missing that deadline means an automatic license suspension, with no chance to contest it. Both readings from that night deserve a close look, and the gap between them may matter more than you think. I'm Joel Brand, a California DUI lawyer. This is general information, not legal advice. If you want a free written case analysis, it is at DUI.guru.